This happened about 8 years ago. I was driving my rig across the Midwest. I knew the roads like the back of my hand, having been a truck driver for over a decade. It was a late night, and I stopped at one of those dim truck stop diners, drawn in by the flickering neon sign that promised coffee and company. I had my usual order ready in my mind. Just another typical evening, or at least that's what I thought. I've never stopped thinking about it since. I pulled into the parking lot. The diner looked old and run down. I parked my truck and stepped inside. The bell above the door jingled. A waitress glanced up but quickly looked away. I sat at the counter. The coffee was hot but tasted burnt. I took a sip and felt uneasy. As I sipped my coffee, a man walked in. He was soaked, like he just stepped out of a downpour. He wore a tattered raincoat and had wild eyes. I tried not to stare, but he caught me. He walked straight up to me and whispered, "The darkness is hungry." I swallowed hard. "What do you mean?" He just shook his head and walked out. I felt my heart pounding as I remembered those words. Later that week, I was on a lonely stretch of road. The moon was bright, lighting up the fields. I saw a figure standing by the roadside. I slowed down. It was a woman, soaking wet and crying. I stopped my truck and got out. "Hey, are you all right?" I called out. She looked up. Her eyes were wide, but there was something off about her face. "Help me," she said. But when I reached for her, she vanished. Just like that, she was gone. I felt a chill run down my spine and got back in my truck. Another time, I was driving through an old mining town. There was no one around. Suddenly, I heard laughter. It echoed down the empty streets. I stopped the truck and looked around. A group of kids stood at the corner, watching me. Their smiles were too wide. "Can we help you?" one of them asked. I was uneasy. "No, I'm just passing through." They laughed even more. I drove away quickly, glancing in my mirrors, but they were gone. Months passed. I had a delivery near an abandoned warehouse. The dry air felt heavy. I went inside to check for any signs of life. I heard whispers echoing from the shadows. "Jake," they called. "Jake." I froze. I didn't know where it was coming from. I turned around, but no one was there. I ran out, heart racing. Then, one night, I found myself at a rest area. There was a campfire set up with several men sitting around it. They nodded at me as I approached. "Join us," one said. I sat down, feeling a strange warmth from the flames. They talked in hushed voices, and I couldn't hear everything. Then they looked at me and said, "You shouldn't have come here." I got up and backed away slowly, feeling the shadows closing in. Now, after each encounter, I keep questioning what I saw. Was it real, or were these just tricks of a tired mind? The roads still stretch ahead of me, but I can barely shake the feeling of someone whispering my name as I drive. Reveal what the whispers meant and how they have led Jake to forever question the reality of his encounters. I drove for hours that night, the hum of my engine mixing with the thoughts racing through my mind. Each turn in the road seemed to echo those strange encounters. Each time the headlights pierced the darkness, I expected to see another figure waiting for me. I told myself they were just figments of my imagination, but deep down, I didn't believe that. Days turned into weeks, each long haul tugging at the threads of my sanity. I found myself revisiting those locations, hoping to find answers to the whispers that seemed to follow me. One night, I returned to that dilapidated diner. The flickering sign felt like a beacon calling me back. Inside, it was empty. The waitress was gone. I sat at the same counter where I first heard the man's warning. The coffee tasted worse than I remembered. As I stared out the window, I saw the silhouette of a figure walking along the roadside. My heart raced. I got up and stepped outside. This time, it was a man in a dirty shirt, his face shadowed by a hood. He looked at me with hollow eyes and asked, "Have you listened to the darkness?" "What do you mean?" I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. He leaned closer and whispered, "It's calling out for you." Then he turned and quickly vanished into the night. Panic surged through me. I stumbled back into the diner, overwhelmed by the weight of his words. I took that encounter to mean something more. I needed to confront whatever this darkness was. Late that week, I was near an overgrown cemetery, a place I had never visited before. It was incredibly quiet. I parked and stepped out, feeling urged to explore. The air felt thick, almost alive. As I wandered, I noticed names etched into the stones, some familiar, some not. I overheard a soft sobbing that echoed amongst the graves. I followed the sound. It led me to a small headstone, overgrown with weeds. The name struck me like a jolt. Emily. I didn't know this person, yet something pulled me closer. I knelt down, and suddenly a chill raced through my spine. "Help me," I heard a voice. It was faint but clear. I leapt back, nearly tumbling into the grass. The whispers swirled around me, calling my name. I stumbled away, heart pounding, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I shouldn't have been there. Something didn't want me to leave. I ran back to my truck. The tires screeched as I sped away, the murmurs still echoing in my ears. That night, I lay awake, racing thoughts circling about the woman in the rain, the kids with their wide smiles, and now this Emily. Why were they seeking me, and what was the darkness they warned of? As I drove into the night again, I felt a new urgency to understand. That's when my headlights caught the figure flickering in the distance. I slowed down and felt dread wash over me, but I was determined to see this through. It was time to confront the truth behind the whispers that called my name. I crept closer, my headlights illuminating the figure. It was a woman, dressed in tattered clothes with long hair falling over her face. She looked lost, as if she'd just stepped out of a nightmare. For a moment, I hesitated. Was this another mirage or something more? But the pull was undeniable. "Can I help you?" I called out, trying to project calmness. She looked up, her eyes glistening with tears. "You don't understand," she said, her voice shaky. "You shouldn't be here." "What do you mean?" I took another step forward, despite my conviction cracking. "Why not?" "Because it's coming for you. It already knows you," she whispered, her eyes darting as if expecting something to emerge from the shadows. A shiver passed through me. I felt it again, the darkness. It lingered like a thick fog, waiting to ensnare me. "Who knows me?" I asked, urgency rising in my voice. But she only shook her head, backing away from me. "Leave this place," she shouted, suddenly loud, desperation cracking through her fear. Then she turned, running into the trees bordering the road. I called after her, but my voice was swallowed up by the night. Confused, I stood frozen. I glanced around, searching for something, anything that gave me a clue, but the distance swallowed her up too quickly. I could feel the chill in the air, heavy and suffocating. The whispers from the cemetery rose again, mingling with my thoughts. "I need answers," I muttered to myself, feeling a mix of dread and resolve. The feeling surged within me like a coil tightening. Without thinking, I jumped back into my truck, the engine roaring to life. I had to return to that cemetery. Maybe Emily had something to do with this woman's warning. I drove faster than I should, driven by a curiosity tinged with fear. When I arrived at the cemetery, it felt different. The air hung heavy, charged with tension. I stepped out, my heart racing, and walked back to Emily's grave. The stones loomed around me like mute witnesses to an unspoken story. Kneeling beside the overgrown headstone, I felt a strange compulsion. "What happened to you, Emily?" I whispered, hoping for an answer. Just as I spoke, a flutter of movement caught my eye. A shadow flitted past my peripheral vision. I turned quickly, but nothing was there. My pulse quickened. The atmosphere seemed alive, shifting just beyond reality. Suddenly, I heard a low murmur rising from the ground beneath me. I leaned closer to the headstone and pressed my ear against the cool stone. "Help me," came a voice, both distant and close, overlapping with the whispers from before, but now sharper, more defined. Then everything went dark. A rush of wind swirled around me, followed by deafening silence. I stumbled back, gasping for air, disoriented and afraid. The darkness pressed against my mind, urging me to give in, to stop fighting. I shook my head, trying to snap out of it, but fear had me in its grasp. "No!" I shouted into the void, knowing I had to face it, whatever it was. As the world slowly came into view again, I found myself alone, clutching the headstone. My breath came fast, and confusion turned into determination. I couldn't run anymore. I looked around. "What is it that you want?" I called out into the emptiness, ready for whatever would answer. And there it was again, that whisper, louder now, echoing off the graveyards. "It's not just you. It wants all of you." The air felt stifling as I stood there, uncertainty wrapping around me. I had to make sense of what was happening. I leaned against Emily's headstone for support. "Who is it?" I demanded, feeling a strange mix of bravado and panic. "Who wants me?" Nothing answered. The silence was thick, pressing in on me. I was about to turn away when a rustle nearby caught my attention. I squinted into the shadows, heart pounding. Maybe it was just a creature, but after everything, I couldn't dismiss it as easily. "Is someone there?" I called out, my voice trembling. The tension in the air only grew thicker. At first, I thought it was just my imagination, but then I saw her, a figure standing just beyond the trees. It was the woman from earlier. Her clothes still tattered, but this time her posture was different. She seemed more confident, almost resolute. I took a hesitant step toward her. "Please," she urged, her voice more steady now. "Why didn't you stay?" I shot back, frustration slipping into my tone. "What do you know?" "Everything," she replied. "I know what's coming. You have to know the truth before it's too late." I felt a rush of anger mixed with fear. "Who are you?" I asked, demanding clarity. "My name is Sarah," she said, locking eyes with me. "I was here before you, trapped in this cycle. It feeds on your doubts and fears. It knows what you fear most." As she spoke, images flooded my mind, shadows darting just out of reach, voices that taunted, memories buried deep. "What do you mean? What does it want?" "Your soul," she said bluntly, a chill creeping up my spine. "It wants to own your essence, just like it did mine. You're already in its grip." I shook my head, disbelief flooding my thoughts. "No, I can't let that happen." "It's not that simple," she urged, stepping closer. "I tried to fight it. I thought I could resist, but..." Her voice trailed off, and I could see the weight of her past in her eyes. "Who were the others?" I pressed, feeling the sadness around her seep into me. "What do you know about Emily?" The moment I mentioned Emily, Sarah flinched and her face paled. Emily was a conduit for it. It used her to lure me, and now it's using you. You're connected, whether you realize it or not. Before I could respond, the air crackled again, a pulse in the atmosphere shifting dreadfully. The whisper returned, sharper, more insistent. "Come to us." A low growl echoed from the shadows, and dread filled me. I turned instinctively, my instincts screaming at me to flee. But before I could act, the shadows around us thickened, swirling like a storm about to burst. The chill crawled along my skin. "Run!" Sarah screamed, and I didn't need to be told again. I took off, heart hammering, pushing through the grave markers and dense brush, the darkness clawing at my back. Just as I broke through the tree line, a piercing scream cut through the night. I shuddered and glanced back, but all I could see were shadows dancing where we had just stood. I needed to get away, to figure out what was happening. That's when I saw it, a figure emerging from the darkness, its eyes burning like embers. I froze, the urge to run battling against the paralyzing fear. Whatever it was coming for me. I stumbled backward, trying to shake off the fear gripping my chest. Chills ran down my spine as I took in the creature before me. It was tall and thin, shadowy tendrils swirling around its form, almost blending into the night. Those glowing eyes reflected a hunger that was unmistakable. I finally found my legs and turned to run again, adrenaline surging through me. I dashed through the trees, branches clawing at my arms, but I didn't feel the pain. I couldn't slow down. The crunch of leaves behind me made it clear the thing was pursuing me. Panic surged, and I desperately scanned my surroundings for an escape route. My mind raced back to Sarah's warning. It feeds on your doubts and fears. I needed to push that fear away, to focus. A clearing appeared ahead. I could see the dim outline of the road beyond the woods. Freedom was in sight. I sprinted toward it, but just as I thought I was close, the ground shifted beneath me. My foot caught on a root, and I fell hard to the ground. I cursed under my breath, scrambling to get back to my feet. I could hear the creature growling, its approach almost silent now, like a predator. Panic surged, and I desperately scanned my surroundings for an escape route. My mind raced back to Sarah's warning. It feeds on your doubts and fears. I needed to push that fear away, to focus. A clearing appeared ahead. I could see the dim outline of the road beyond the woods. Freedom was in sight. I sprinted toward it, but just as I thought I was close, the ground shifted beneath me. My foot caught on a root, and I fell hard to the ground. I cursed under my breath, scrambling to get back to my feet. I could hear the creature growling, its approach almost silent now, like a predator, closing in on its prey. I glanced back, heart racing. It stood at the edge of the trees, watching me. There was an intensity in its gaze, like it knew me intimately. Perhaps it was feeding on my fear. It felt like a conversation without words. "Stay away!" I shouted, my voice wavering. "I won't let you take me!" But the threat didn't waver. Instead, it stepped forward, and the shadows moved with it, flowing like dark liquid. My instincts kicked in again, and I pushed myself up and ran harder than before. When I reached the road, I paused for a moment to catch my breath and glance back, scanning the tree line. Nothing. It had vanished. But the dread inside me tightened. The danger wasn't gone. It was just hiding. I took a few shaky steps onto the pavement, the chill of the night giving way to the familiar warmth of the streetlights. My heart was still racing, but for now, I was safe. I turned around to head back toward my car parked a little way down the road, but before I could take another step, I heard a voice. "Help me!" I spun around, fear electrifying my body again. There, in the shadows, was a figure, someone lying on the ground. My heart twisted. Was it another victim? Or was it a trap, just like Sarah warned? I hesitated, debating what to do. "Please," the voice pleaded again, more desperate this time. I can't stay here." It sounded familiar. My blood ran cold as I tried to piece together the fragments. It was similar to Emily's voice. Hope wrestled with fear inside me. Had she been trapped too? But another part of me, the rational part, screamed that this could be a trick. I couldn't let my compassion blind me to what was lurking in those woods. Still, I couldn't just leave. I had to know who was out there. And then, everything fell silent. A weight settled over me like the stillness before a storm. In the darkness, the air felt heavier. I squinted against the gloom, straining to see through the encroaching shadows. I wasn't alone, and the night felt alive with unspeakable things. Before I could make sense of it all, a sharp wind gust blew through, erasing the last trace of the desperate voice. My gut twisted in protest. I took a step back. Then I saw it again. That figure emerged once more, its eyes glowing brighter, but this time, behind it, a multitude of shadows skittered, closing in. I could feel their anticipation, their hunger. It was coming for me. My breath hitched as I realized the glowing figure wasn't just a lost soul, it was a lure. I instinctively took a step back, but my feet felt glued to the pavement. The shadows danced around it, hungry and restless, ready to strike. "Stay away!" I shouted again, but my voice cracked and I felt small against the force closing in. My heart hammered in my chest and I could hear whispers on the wind, dark, taunting. Were they trying to get into my head? I had to move. I forced my legs to turn, sprinting along the road, my heart pounding like thunder in my ears. The streetlights flickered as if they were strobing in time with my fear, casting eerie forms that twisted and turned with every step. Behind me, I could hear the creature's growl, a low rumble that echoed through the chilly air. It was relentless. I glanced back, only to see that the figure had disappeared, replaced by a mass of shadow swirling like smoke. All at once, I felt the weight of doubt creeping in again. What if Emily was in danger? What if I could have saved her? But I had to remind myself that I wasn't sure this was her voice. It could all be a trap. I pressed onward, praying that there was safety beyond this nightmare. My car was still a few feet down the road, just within reach. I wiped the sweat off my brow, my fingers trembling. Then, the lights blacked out. The street was swallowed by darkness, leaving me in a void. Instinct kicked in, and I pivoted as my world shrank to silence. The shadows were closing in fast, hidden in the gloom, but I could feel them. Their hunger grew palpable, a dark fog wrapping around me. "Think!" I shouted, desperate. I remember the flashlight in my car. I sprinted towards it, my legs burning from the effort. Each step was a fight against the icy fear wrapping around me. I felt the presence behind me, like hot breath against my neck. The shadows pressed closer. Adrenaline pushed me to my limits, and suddenly, the beam of light from my car's headlights flickered in the distance, a glimmer of hope. With renewed energy, I lunged toward it and reached my car. My hand fumbled for the door handle. "Please, let this work." I yanked it open and dove inside, slamming the door just as something thudded against the frame. I scrambled for the flashlight on the passenger seat, my hands shaking. Fumbling around, I finally got a grip on it and switched it on. The beam burst forth, illuminating the interior. I took a breath and refracted the light toward the darkness outside. The shadows recoiled, hissing as the light hit them. Relief washed over me, but I knew it wouldn't hold them back forever. I had to think fast. Then, in the perimeter of my light, I saw movement. A familiar silhouette emerged, the figure from before. That's when I realized it wasn't just a voice. I breathed. The light revealed its true form. Emily, her eyes wide with fear. But behind her, the shadows surged again, hungry for both of us. I had a choice to make. I could help her, but wouldn't that put us both in danger? A moment of hesitation could cost us everything. I stared at Emily, torn between running away and reaching out. Her face was pale, eyes darting around us, and the shadows writhed like snakes ready to strike. There wasn't time to think. "Emily!" I shouted. "Get in the car!" She hesitated. I could see panic wrestling with disbelief in her expression. "I can't," she called back. "They won't let me." Something was wrong. I had always known Emily as strong, fearless, but the way she spoke now made it clear she was trapped in a world of terror beyond my understanding. There was a flicker of recognition in her gaze. "Help me," she pleaded, her voice cracking. I squeezed the flashlight harder, my knuckles white. The beam illuminated the approaching mass, revealing dark shapes that twisted and pulsed. Hate, hunger, and something else darkened their forms. I felt a chill creeping into my bones. These weren't just shadows. They were something ancient, something that fed on fear. "You've gotta come now," I urged her, praying she'd understand. "We'll figure it out together." But as Emily took a shaky step forward, the shadows surged. They whipped around her like a storm, clinging to her, whispering sweet lies, sweet, deadly lies. I gritted my teeth, the flashlight flickering dangerously. I had to act. "You're not alone. I won't leave you," I yelled. The words felt like a promise. With every ounce of courage, I flung open the door. "Jump in, trust me." Emily hesitated, torn between fear and hope. I could see her fighting internal battles. But those moments stretched too long. The darkness was moving even closer, and I couldn't lose her again. "Now!" I shouted, panic clawing at my throat. She lunged forward, diving into the passenger seat as I slammed the door shut behind her. I quickly switched the flashlight towards the approaching shadows. The light held them at bay for a moment, but I knew it wouldn't last. "Drive," she panted, looking back at the mass pressing closer. Her eyes were wild with fear, but there was something else, determination. I turned the key in the ignition, ignoring the stutter of my heart. The engine roared to life, and as I put it in gear, the weight of the shadows smashed against the car, rattling the metal frame. I shot forward, tires screeching against the asphalt. But as I sped down the road, I couldn't shake the feeling of dread. The darkness chased us, clawing at the rear of the car. I glanced at Emily, her face illuminated in the harsh glow of the dashboard. "What was that?" I asked, trying to catch my breath. The questions bubbled up, the mysteries too heavy to hold back. "What happened to you out there?" Her gaze fell to her trembling hands. "It's their fault," she whispered, eyes darting back to the rearview mirror. A shiver ran through me. I could feel the shadows still pursuing us, relentless as ever. "I don't know how to fight them. I don't even know what they are," I admitted. Emily turned to me, the resolve hardening in her expression. "Then we find out, together." Just as the weight of her words settled in, I felt a pull in my gut, like a whisper promising dread. When I glanced in the mirror again, the shadows had morphed into a single form, solid and looming. And that's when I saw it, a glimmer of something reflective. Eyes that weren't just shadows. It was watching us, waiting. I gripped the wheel harder. Whatever it was coming for us. As we tore down the road, the figure loomed larger in the mirror. I could see its eyes now, cold, calculating, and far too intelligent. My pulse raced, a drum echoing in my ears. "What is that?" I asked, more to myself than to Emily. "I don't know," she breathed, gripping her seat tightly. "But we need to outrun it." I slammed the gas pedal down harder, the engine growling beneath us. The road was a blur, the woods on either side pressing in. Trees became a wall of shadows, and I pushed the car to its limits, praying we could find safety. The strange figure didn't waver. It glided through the shadows, effortlessly keeping pace with us. My heart sank. We could drive forever, but it would always be there. "We need a plan," Emily said, her voice low, laced with urgency. She turned to face me, her eyes wide. "What can we do?" I searched my mind for answers. There has to be something, some way to stop it. But the truth settled into the pit of my stomach. I had no idea what we were dealing with. My thoughts were interrupted when I spotted the old diner up ahead. A neon sign flickered, open 24 hours, the light casting a translucent aura around the building. It looked half abandoned, but we had to take that risk. "Pull in there," Emily shouted, and I veered towards the parking lot. The tires skidded on gravel, and I parked as close to the entrance as I could. We jumped out, adrenaline coursing through us as we dashed toward the door. I shoved it open, breathing in the stale, greasy air. The diner was empty, except for a single waitress at the counter, staring at us like we were ghosts. "We need a phone," I gasped, panic rising again. "Call for help." She blinked slowly, then pointed towards the back. "There's a landline in the office." I glanced back out the door, the shadows creeping closer as if drawn to us. The figure lingered just outside the beam of the diner's light, its eyes burning like lanterns. My instinct screamed at me to leave, but fear rooted me in place. "Emily, stay here," I instructed as I made my way to the back. The shadows felt electric, saturating the air with a thick tension. I pushed open the office door and fumbled for the phone. As I dialed, a terrified scream echoed from the diner. I whipped around to see Emily struggling against the figure, shadows wrapping around her like chains. "Emily!" I dropped the phone and raced back. She was fighting, but the shadows were relentless. I grabbed a nearby chair and swung wildly, my heart pounding in my ears. The wood connected with something solid, and Emily gasped as the figure staggered back. But it recovered swiftly, its eyes narrowing, revealing rows of sharp teeth and a dark maw. "We have to go," I shouted, grabbing Emily's arm and pulling her towards the exit. As we bolted outside, I glanced back one last time. The figure stood tall, anger radiating off it, shadows swirling wildly behind it. In that moment, I realized this wasn't just a chase, it was a hunt. "What now?" Emily panted, wild-eyed as we stood outside the diner, the faint glow of safety fading fast between us and the darkness. Then everything went dark. When the darkness lifted, I found myself sprawled on the hard ground, the air cold and still. I blinked rapidly, trying to focus, but my mind felt foggy. I scrambled to sit up, and there was Emily beside me, panic written all over her face. "Are you okay?" I asked, my voice hoarse. She nodded, but the tension in her posture betrayed her. "I don't know what just happened." We were no longer outside the diner. Instead, we lay on a gravel road, surrounded by towering trees. Gnarled branches reached out like skeletal hands. Anxiety crept into my chest. "We need to get back inside. Maybe we can find a way to—" "No, look!" Emily pointed, her voice shaking. I turned my head slowly, dread pooling in my stomach. Behind us, where the diner once stood, was nothing but a thick wall of darkness. I hesitated, then pushed to my feet, pulling Emily up with me. "We have to move," I urged. As we began walking away from the void, I heard a rustling sound from the brush to my right. "Did you hear that?" I whispered, my throat dry. "Yeah," Emily replied, her eyes darting around. Then came the low growl, like a monstrous engine revving. I squinted into the shadows, hoping to catch a glimpse of whatever was stalking us. The growl grew louder, morphing into a howl that echoed through the trees. "We need to run!" Emily didn't need to be told twice. We took off down the road as fast as our legs could carry us, the gravel crunching underfoot, but the growl followed, relentless. Moments later, I spotted headlights shining in the distance. Relief washed over me, a light at the end of the tunnel. A truck! We sprinted toward the source of the light, but just as the figure came into view, its growl cut through the night like a knife. A massive shadow shot out from behind a tree, blocking our path. It was tall and muscular, and in its eyes, I saw something primal. A predator waiting to pounce. "Stop!" a voice yelled from the truck. Out jumped an older man, rugged and worn, but something about him radiated authority. "Get back!" The man brandished a rifle, aiming it directly at the beast. I could barely breathe as I stood frozen. "Get behind me," he shouted, and instinct took over. Emily and I dove behind the truck just as that creature lunged forward, its teeth gleaming menacingly in the headlights. The gun fired, a deafening crack that momentarily drowned out our heartbeats. The monster recoiled, a snarl escaping its lips as it stumbled back into the darkness. "What the hell? What is that?" the man shouted, his eyes wide as he took a step back, glancing at us. I opened my mouth to speak, but nothing came out. Confusion twisted into fear as questions bombarded my mind. How did we get here? What had we just escaped? The man didn't wait for answers. "Get in, now!" We scrambled into the truck's cab, Emily pushing in after me, and the driver slammed the door shut. He hit the gas, and the vehicle jolted forward, tearing us away from that lurking horror. "Did it follow us?" I managed to ask, breathless. The man shook his head, but kept his eyes on the road, scanning the rearview mirror. "I don't know, but it's not safe out here." I exchanged glances with Emily, my heart racing. The woods and shadows rushed by, but now we could feel both the thrill of escape and the dread of what awaited us. Then I noticed something strange. The darkness in the mirror shifted, restless. That figure was still out there, waiting. "Who are you?" I asked, my voice coming out steadier than I felt. But it was the wrong question. That's when I saw it. The man's face twisted into something I couldn't quite place. Concern, perhaps, or fear? "That doesn't matter," he said sharply, still focused on the road ahead. "What matters is that you both survived." "Survived?" I echoed, still shaken from the encounter. What exactly were we surviving? "Not here." He glanced at us briefly, his eyes reflecting a heaviness. "Once it knows you're out there, it won't stop. It'll use whatever it can to claim you." My heart sank. I turned toward Emily, her face pale and stricken. "What did you mean by it knows us?" I asked, catching the edge of the growing panic. "It's a predator," the man replied grimly. "It's been stalking you since you first set foot near those woods. You let it in." "What does that even mean?" I shot back, a spike of frustration hitting me. "We didn't let anything in." He sighed, clearly wrestling with words that wouldn't come easily. But before he could respond, I felt a momentary chill fill the cab, like the air had changed. I glanced in the side mirror, half expecting another dark figure on our tail. Nothing. "Whatever it is, it wants us," Emily whispered, wrapping her arms tightly around herself. The man nodded gravely. "That's why I'm going to take you to someone who can help, but you have to trust me." "Is it safe?" I asked. "Soph has no perfect solution either," he said, steering the truck into a turn. "But it's better than leaving you to face it alone." As I leaned back, half listening to his words, my thoughts drifted. Each encounter I'd had with the darkness seemed to connect in a twisted web. The man in the diner, the weeping woman, the children with wide smiles, they had all warned me in some way. But the deeper I delved into those encounters, the muddier the understanding became. What was the nature of the darkness? Was it merely a creature, an ancient entity, or a manifestation of the fears we carry? I looked at Emily, who was staring out the window. "We have to go back, don't we?" I said, my voice barely a whisper. "We can't just run." A flicker of something passed over her features, a mix of hope and apprehension. "I don't know, Jake. What if it's too late?" The man's gaze flicked my way. "Going back won't help you. It only strengthens its hold. You need to let go." The growing nausea in my stomach gripped me tighter. Just the thought of facing it all again terrified me. "But if it's inside our heads, if it's feeding on our fear," I hesitated, processing the implications. "What if we change how we see it?" "You don't understand," the man interjected. "Many have tried to fight it, thinking they could outsmart it. But it knows us, and it knows our truths. What you fear, it'll exploit." Moments later, we hit a bump, and the truck jolted as we transitioned from gravel to paved road. Eerie silence filled the air, save for the rumble of the engine. The darkness felt tangible at our backs, forever haunting. Would it always loom, wait, and watch? Then I remembered the lost shadows, the ones who warned me. I still felt their presence, like echoes in my mind. "What about Sarah?" I asked suddenly. "What happened to her?" "Sarah?" He furrowed his brow, glancing out of the mirror, caution creeping into his expression. "She was one of them." "Meaning what?" I pressed, catching something in the man's voice. Fear. The shadow hung low, stretching behind the truck. I could feel it gripping tighter. "There are always risks when you stare into the darkness," he sighed. But as I looked back through the window again, I didn't see a shadow. Instead, I spotted a flicker, a strange mix of light and shadow darting among the trees. An unease slithered back into my thoughts. I turned away, brushing it aside with a sense of unease. "Whatever it takes, we can't let it win." The man nodded, a weight on his face. But the truth hung dormant in the atmosphere, pressing down. As we drove deeper into the night, uncertainty thrummed in my chest. Shadows may not have been gone, but perhaps there was still something to fight for. As Emily glanced at me, a flicker of fire sparked in her eyes. No matter what awaited us, uncertainty loomed just ahead. I felt both fear and a growing resolve about the road ahead. We were faced with the choice to confront the darkness or lose ourselves in its depth, with unanswered questions lingering like shadows on the horizon. The night stretched on, the murmur of the past mingling with the darkness we had yet to face, and my mind buzzed with the haunting echoes. I didn't know what would come next, but I was determined to take a stand, whatever that might mean.